Last question goes to Matt Lee.
Matthew Lee, Inner City Press. Thanks for the briefing, and on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access, hoping for question and answer stakeouts after consultations to hear what happened and ask you about it. I wanted to ask about Libya and Burundi. On Libya, I know that the U.S., UK, and France, with Germany and Italy, have been issuing a lot of joint statements. But what's the role of the Security Council, especially now that there have been airstrikes reportedly by regional countries supporting militias there? And on Burundi, I know that you visited there, and I wanted to know what's the status of the UN looking into allegations that the ruling party was arming its youth wing and trying to get the release of this human rights defender, Mbonimpa, who's, I believe, is still in jail after several months. So those are the two questions, Libya and Burundi. Thanks.
On Libya, as you know, the security environment deteriorated to such an extent that U.S. personnel had to depart the country because of the fighting that was going on near our embassy. But I want to underscore that that has in no way diminished our role or that of our partners, whether inside the Council or internationally, regionally, and in terms of other stakeholders, at trying to support the efforts of the Libyan people, above all, and the Libyan government, the elected government, to bring this crisis to an end. It's no secret that with so many arms in the country, so many non-state actors, this has proven more than challenging, and the crisis is escalated over recent weeks rather than diminished. I think we are very supportive of the new Special Representative Leon's efforts. We are hopeful that he can be point person. As you know, his predecessor really made an effort to use the UN good offices to try to facilitate national dialogue among the parties, but it's safe to say that not enough came of those efforts. And now, perhaps in light of the human toll that this crisis is taking, the massive displacement, the fear that people in Tripoli, Benghazi, and elsewhere are experiencing in light of this fighting, maybe that will add urgency to the sort of efforts behind the scenes for people to forge some kind of national consensus. It has happened in more difficult circumstances even than this one, but no one can overstate the challenge that the Libyan people face, again, above all, given how militarized the situation has become. When it comes to the Council, that's exactly what we will discuss, again, when we have our consultations, and we've just passed a resolution, as you know, aimed at halting the flow of arms into Libya, sanctioning those who are illegally bringing in arms, and we don't pretend that that resolution is a panacea, again, given the amount of arms on the ground and given the networks that exist on the black market and elsewhere to bring in arms, but we think this can make a difference. And we are very eager to hear from Mr. Leon and, again, from the Libyan leadership about the kinds of other steps the Council can take. Again, this is an issue on which, notwithstanding a history of some division on aspects related to Libya, everyone in the Council, as you saw, again, with the speed with which we were able to suspend or to sort of change the presumption on arms flows into the country, where any arms flow has to be approved by the Council. This is something I think, again, if there are proposals on the table, I think the Council can come to agreement. On Burundi, I've personally raised the case of the human rights defender and lawyer that you mentioned many times, publicly and privately, with the Burundian leadership. I think I suppose the situation on the ground has has not changed materially since we last engaged on this. We still have real concerns about the closing of political space, the walking away from aspects of the Arusha Accords, which have been the foundation on which Burundi's stability and peace and reconciliation have been predicated. All of those concerns remain, and they were raised by myself and by other American officials in the African Leaders Summit when President Nkurunziza visited not long ago. The only thing I can say, so I guess beyond that at this point, is that we are also deeply committed to ensuring that the UN maintains a role, an important role, on the ground in Burundi in the coming weeks, particularly as we approach the elections, which are likely to be a very tense time, given what the government has done against opposition parties, and given that, again, the circumstances for civil society and the opposition have grown much more difficult in recent weeks. We don't have reason to expect that things are suddenly going to open, and that's going to create tension. And I will note that the Council, I think, has met more on Burundi in recent months than probably in any other analogous period. So again, this is something that I think we have made our views as a council, and we have made our views bilaterally, speaking in my national capacity, very well known to the Burundian authorities at a very combustible time. Thank you, everybody.